I know I'm a little, oh, actually quite a bit later than the usual start time. I kind of knew that was going to happen. I just wasn't expecting it to be this late. So usually the cost for that has actually been that there's usually not a lot of people that show up, but that's, I suppose, my problem. If you're watching this, this means you are one of the people who did show up. So thank you for that, whether you're watching on the VOD or live on stream. So I'm going to take a minute here. I should have killed most of my background processes. I know one of the challenges of doing Phantom Liberty is that sometimes the game struggles a little bit. I also noticed there was an update that came into the game today. I don't see a news item on the... Yeah, it looks like there isn't a news item on the GOG page, but we can see it as it goes by. I'm hoping it's improvements. This is actually, there's a couple things to be said about Cyberpunk. One is just how much better the game has gotten, and I'm not even really thinking about the stuff that got a lot of attention, because I actually feel the stuff that got a lot of attention wasn't really like a deep or structural problem with the game. The best way for me to describe this actually would be it would be for me to talk about another game, and this would be Anthem, BioWare's sort of, what is it? I really don't like the term looter shooter, but I guess that's kind of what it is. So there are a lot of opinions about what went wrong with that game. And I don't even remember if I've read any of this. But there's a couple of things about Anthem that caught my attention. So number one, I certainly wasn't the only one to think this, but there were a lot of people who sort of said that Anthem had a really great game that was just begging to be released inside of it. And what also interested me were a number of articles that were written about the game, so mostly related to its development. And one of the things that really caught my attention about the development was, first of all, the process through which EA will make a game. You know, obviously if you're making an EA game, and particularly a game like a BioWare style game, that's a tremendously expensive process, and it can in fact be better to cancel a project than to see it through to completion. So even if you spent millions of dollars to release something like Anthem, also involves the expenditure of millions of dollars in terms of marketing. And beyond whatever reputational risk for the studio or for the publisher that there exists, there's just simply a question as to whether or not that marketing spend is going to be made back. And then I think it's also fair to say that today, if you're releasing a modern sort of AAA style game, there are a number of costs related to just simply maintaining it. And this is not a question of just servers, but sort of dealing with the bugs, dealing with community management. All of these things are going to be costs that need to be factored. And so while to, let's say, you or I, the idea of spending so much money on a project only to cancel it is inconceivable. Even something as big as the Star Wars first-person shooter is something that doesn't necessarily survive. And I mean, you'd think like a Star Wars property, right? Surely this would be the safest bet of all. But in the case of Electronic Arts, for one reason or another, they didn't feel... And I mean, let's face it, Respawn is a very well-regarded studio. It's certainly a big cash cow for them in the form of Apex Legends. But even then, that was not necessarily something that they felt they could sustain. And I would have to imagine, I didn't actually read the transcript from the earnings call, but I do get the impression that they're actually not trying to use other people's IP which I've heard described. It was Jordan Weisman who said this, that using other people's IP is renting revenue. And I think that's a really interesting way of looking at it. I actually also think it's a very refreshing way of looking at it. And particularly for a publisher that struggled with this very recently in the forms of Immortals of Aveum, a game that was given a pretty considerable budget and something that was new, still saying that they're going to invest in new ideas, I think means something. Now, again, I mean, there's a lot of people who like to get a bit smug in terms of, well, it has to be a good game too. And I don't think anybody disputes that. But the thing is, right, when you have a pretty significant loss like that, there is a strong tendency for companies to sort of retreat back to the tried and true. And in that case, that means, paying for licenses for things that are a little bit more certain, such as Star Wars. So I actually think there's something kind of interesting in the decision to invest in itself, essentially. So whether it turns out is a whole other question, I suppose. But anyways, so the Anthem thing, so first of all, it did seem that the development was a little troubled at the start. Not to suggest that it wasn't troubled later too, but it did seem to be that there were some questions as to whether or not this thing would be a going concern. And this is when Patrick Soderlund was still at the game. He would, was still at EA. Probably, I imagine he would have been chief creative officer. I'm fascinated at the fact there seems to be a button here, but it's not actually doing anything. But he apparently played a demo of Anthem, and I think this was a point where, it was kind of clear that this was a make or break proposition for the game. And he zipped around in his jetpack and said, this is awesome, more of this. And so that's, I think, probably where a lot of people are getting this idea of, there's a really good game waiting to be released. I think one of the other things that I got out of that article was that BioWare took this view that they wanted to be completely original and so didn't necessarily play other games in that style, something like a Destiny. And that doesn't necessarily seem to have served the game well. And I think there's some sense in that. There's a problem in movies, and I definitely feel that this problem exists in games as well, where you have people who really clearly don't have any ideas outside of what they've seen inside of movies, and then likewise with games, the games just start referencing each other. And that for a while, I would actually almost argue would probably be the bigger of the two problems. But I think there is something to be said that if you're going to be working with a set of conventions, you probably want to be familiar with what other people have done. Doesn't mean that, if you want to make movies that you have to go and watch every movie. In fact, I think there's an Orson Welles clip of him sort of saying, there's too many people who are, don't have anything to say or constantly referring to themselves. So this probably isn't even a 90s thing. But, yeah, I think I definitely think that the danger can go both ways, that you don't want to only be drawing from other games, because at that point you don't have anything original to say and you're essentially just making someone else's game at that point. But if you deliberately cut yourself off from the conventions in which you're working, then you also make all the mistakes that other people had to learn. And so, you need to somehow find that balance. So one way or another, I do sometimes wonder what the Anthem 2.0 would have looked like. I'm not entirely sure I believe that COVID killed it. I imagine that probably the project was not showing the promise that it was supposed to on the timelines. Again, the cost for assigning people at BioWare to Anthem is not just the cost of their labor, it is the thing you don't develop by directing them towards it, right? So if you have another Mass Effect, if you have another Dragon Age, if you have a brand new IP, taking those people to breathe life back into a game which has sort of shown limited promise can prove quite costly. Anyways, um, the thing about Cyberpunk, one thing that really kind of got my attention and I felt bad about with this game were the times where there just seemed to be big performance problems. So like that really memorable, maybe it's not even maybe memorable so much as it was something that was shown off um, in promotions where that conversation with Dexter Deshawn and the back of the car is full of smoke and he's got his golden arm. So you really get to show off all of the capabilities of the game. And it seems to be that particular part was making all of the effort of sort of rendering Night City around you, despite the fact that you were sort of in a confined area and there was no real way for you to actually see. I mean, you could see outside the window, but it felt like a real drag that part sort of suffered, because it's one of those moments where, when you're sold on the game, this is the thing that makes you say, oh wow, this looks really impressive. And then of course when you get to experience that yourself, you see it in a much dimmer light. So the funny thing is that I think some of the things I'm most grateful for this are actually just the improvements in terms of how the game performs. Obviously it's not perfect, but those are the ones that I like the most. Although again, it's always nice to see that people are recognizing the game for what it is now. Anyways, the reason why I'm doing this long intro, other than the fact that I kind of wanted to, give people a chance to come in, I got a message from one of my former coworkers. This is someone I kind of use him as an example of a normal person playing games as opposed to somebody who's sort of dedicated to gaming. And he sent me an interesting message yesterday. So he said, I was thinking about this last night, though. I think overall, actually, let me just see here. Okay, anyways. I was thinking about this last night, though. I think overall, considering the atmosphere, story, and gameplay, Cyberpunk is possibly one of the best games I've ever played. I can't think of another game that has given me as a narrative/gameplay combo with characters that I have been as invested in. Now that's really interesting, right? Because when I talk to other people, I don't normally hear these kinds of complimentary statements. Now, I'm probably not on the team of like Cyberpunk is the best game I've ever played. It's a very, very good game. Don't get me wrong. Just like the best game for me is there's a long and very competitive list for that. But somebody who is not, I don't know, I guess they don't necessarily feel like they need to have a gamer appropriate take. They're really just focused on value for money and whether or not they enjoyed the game. It is actually very refreshing to hear these perspectives sometimes, and I can definitely believe more than a few people saying that Cyberpunk is the best game that they've played, and it's not necessarily because they haven't played a lot of games. I think it's because it's a very strong product. Okay. So before I go too far on this, shot by both sides. Interesting gig. A shit-scared media, a top-secret investigation, corpo dirt, anonymous threats. What's that? Forget merc work. Now you want to be Night City's top private eye? Bree Whitney, a media for whom until recently writing for Scream Sheets was her bread and butter, but Bree always wanted something more from life. She finally stumbled across a serious story, and although it got red hot, she decided not to let it go. Now she's rummaging through corp closets for skeletons, a lucrative commodity in Night City that could either earn you stacks or, more commonly, a bullet to the head. Bree is paranoid and stressed, but that's hardly surprising given the circumstances. She knows what she wants and intends to achieve it regardless of the price. She's secretive and careful with her words, saving them instead for her articles. Excuse me, I'm just finished eating something. It's coming back up. I don't even remember if I've read the downtown description, but let's do that here. Downtown is one of the newest districts in Night City, having been rebuilt after the Arasaka headquarters bombing. If you buy a postcard in Night City, chances are it has a picture of downtown, with its sky-high office and apart buildings, corporate hotels, and exclusive restaurants. It all screams glamour and luxury. No matter where you turn, you'll see animated billboards and ads for bars, BD clubs, or love hotels. For those who have cash to spend, downtown is the beating heart of the city. But like all other districts, downtown also has a darker side. After dusk, in sketchy alleyways, hotels, and bars, you can meet dealers offering synthetic drugs and illegal brain dances. Most places offering nighttime entertainment are also guarded by gang members, businessmen, and criminals, prestige and fraud, power and brute strength. All of these are all two sides of the same coin called downtown. If you can just give me a second here, I'm going to try and reposition my mic a little bit. Okay, hopefully I will be a little clearer. And let's get the game to catch up. There we go. So I can't knock.
Pretty swanky pad for media's pocket. Back in my day, the press lived in fucking roach closets. Lockups both ways.
Book your dream holiday with Warders. Tired? Want to leave your boring old routine behind? Now all you have to do is pack your bags and choose the destination of your dreams. Somalia, visit a sunny exotic resort featuring bottomless drinks and hovering deck chairs. Tycho, a paradise for those who seek adventure and frequent tours of the moon. The Crystal Palace, the definition of luxury travel, featuring gourmet food, out-of-this-world casinos, and lush green villas with stunning vistas of the cosmos. Claim first-minute discounts and save up to 20%. Your future starts today. Okay, as interested as I am looking at the bamboo plant, let's see what else we can find in here. The Art of Self-Control, 10 Rules for Becoming a Better You. Have you ever left a party in tears after seeing your ex with some new arm candy? Have you ever agreed to do overtime just to please your overbearing manager? Does your mother still guilt trip you even though you're over 30 and are old enough to have your own adult BD collection? Thank you very much. Sorry. Old enough to have your own adult BD collection. Thank you very much. If so, this book is for you. In the following chapters, you'll get helpful tips on how to act in stressful situations and keep the situation under control even when it seems everything is stacked against you. You'll never let things get to you again because you are in the driver's seat of your mind. Probably by Peter Jordanson. The most anticipated BD of the year, Diverse Media System to Brie Whitney. The brain dance we've all been waiting for, Natural Enquirer, starring Ava Mingley. Sylvie, Ava Mingley, is a simple housewife who spends her days looking after her son, Brian Worth, and helping her investigative journalist husband, Ben, ZX, chase down his stories. But all that changes when she accidentally finds one of her husband's disturbing reports. Could Ben really have witnessed such macabre events? Sylvie goes on a wild search for the truth. Only one thing's for sure, whoever they are, they catch to kill. Coming soon to BD. Pre-order now. Pre-orders at diversemedia.corp. If you no longer wish to receive our newsletter, please write unsubscribe at diversemediacorp.corp. Vacation packages from Brie Whitney to Warders Travel Agency. Hello, I'm interested in your vacation packages. Which destinations have your quickest departure options? Hi there, I'm Patrick, and I'm overjoyed to assist you today. I'm thrilled that you've contacted Warders Travel Agency. We make customer service our highest priority. Here at Warders Travel Agency, we stop at nothing to ensure you have a safe and unforgettable vacation. If you're a premium client, please contact us via our private telephone line. Your premium account guarantees priority when purchasing travel packages, as well as a unique travel offer tailored to your needs. To upgrade to premium, please reply yes to this email. If you would like to continue using your economy account, please reply no or wait for a response with a human consultant. No! Thank you for your patience. You are currently client number 8810. All Foods Bar write-up from Bree Whitney to Zach Milestone. Hey, final articles in the attachment. Great, I'll toss it in tomorrow's spread. Cred will arrive in a week, thanks. Border Crossing, Bree Whitney to Mike Lazaro. I've got some biz, need to get to Dogtown. Hey Bree, it's great to hear from you too. Yeah, I could figure something out. Get you in a month, most likely. Not an option. I need to be there like yesterday. It's not that simple. We've got lines, rules, procedures. You can't pull any gonk moves or they'll dump me on toilet duty. You know how it is. All right, managed to work something out with Gonzalez. He'll take my shift and I'll get you through the gate myself. Let me know when you're here. Hello. If you could just give me a second. It's been pretty cold today and I turned the heat up, but now I'm actually feeling very toasty. So I'm just going to take a second to change the setting. So I imagine that's the bamboo plant we're looking for, so I'll try the one that's incorrect first.
Huh. What's this?
Really, dickweed? That looked like a bamboo.
Kiss my ass. Well. Right. Let's see what's here. Huh. Interesting.
Fuck. Scan that. Militech logo 2010s. Card's gotta be at least 60 years old. Didn't find that in a kabuki bargain bin. Makes me think. What's this Bree chick up to?
Bree Whitney's address, 18 Skyline. Oh, sorry, we've got that. So, got the card. What now? Now you'll meet with a client. I'm sending you some coordinates. An abandoned building in Dogtown, bottom floor. Go after dark and avoid calling attention to yourself, please. So I imagine this will involve a wait.
Hey, you're not Bree.
I'm not.
What are you doing here?
Water in the bamboos. You?
Standing in the doorway. Why the sass, kid? I, heard some noise. I thought maybe Bree was back. Been a while since I've seen her. I'm next door. Thought I should come take a look. Got some dodgy chooms hanging around the building lately.
What sort of chooms?
Dunno. Definitely don't live in the building. Looked kinda like small-town gangoons. Not even. Just thugs. Just tell Bree to take care of herself, you hear?
I don't get to close the door? Okay, on my way. So I'll see if there's something else that I can do before passing the time, but I know this was the mission I was going to do to avoid passing the time, so I suspect that I'm running out of options. Okay, 2 kilometers. Let's see what we've got here. So, meet with Reed at the Moth. That's Takamura. Go to Afterlife. I mean, I could mess around with the Delamain missions. Actually, you know what? Let's follow up on with the Beast and Me, seeing as it's daytime. So I should be able to... There we go. No music? Actually sounds like there might be something. It's very quiet. Ellen Ripley! Thank you very much. You may possibly be the only person here, but thank you very much for resubscribing. You've been doing that for a while.
Hey, I got another moving target. Help it off the beaten path and right into my arms.
Music sounds very, very quiet. We'll see what happens over time. Anyways, very happy to see you here, and I'm sure, well, hopefully I'll see some chat as well to verify you're alive. Sadly can't stay, you must pay the the troll toll. Thank you very much, Ellen Ripley. I'm sorry you can't stay either. I've been threatening to talk about Japan and its economic troubles when you're able to stay, but I also don't want to create a sense of obligation for anybody in the stream. So thank you very much for resubscribing, especially because you've been subsidizing my entertainment to other platforms, or not platforms, but other broadcasters, and you've also been supporting a few people in the channel here as well. You'll be back ASAP. Well, that's wonderful. But I was also going to say, I'm sure you saw on Discord, but I did give you something special in terms of AI. we can chat about that on our own time, though. Anyways, enjoy whatever it is you're up to. I'm gonna kill these fools. So I am hearing the music, it just sounds very, very quiet. Oh, actually that might just be the radio. Sure, this'll do. Now we don't seem to have any time limit on this. I thought we were gonna lose the bonus. One of the things that I like about this game, so this has been a while, but there's the man with the flaming nether regions. Part of the mission involves sort of, oh come on, sort of rushing through the town and you know, getting there before. There's sort of an unofficial timer on it. It doesn't show you, but the guy will run away if you take too long. But what is funny is that it does throw a bunch of traffic in front of you. What I liked about that was it was not immediately apparent to me that it was part of the mission. Like, I just kind of thought the game was naturally having these obstructions come up. And then, of course, eventually it's like a school bus full of children or something like that. And
Thanks for the help, V. My chum will do the finishing touches. Check the drop point for reward. Don't spend it all on XPDs and glitter.
So we're near a purchase terminal. But yeah, so because I was stuck in traffic a few times before, I didn't quite register that that was something deliberately to make me laugh. I just kind of had a laugh because it was like, oh, that's a really good coincidence. And then of course I realized, no, that is intentional. But it is a bit of an indication in terms of the craftsmanship. Okay, so the trick here, especially with where I'm at in terms of cash, I want to see the most expensive item, because at 78%, that can be a huge savings if we pick the more costly items. So 19.8 is my most expensive so far. 21.7, or well, 21.780. And we have two of those. Yeah, 34.101 is probably going to be the highest. Okay. So I suppose the other thing I could try and do here is buy as many low-cost cars as I can find. Looks like 28 is the lowest. I think I'm going to do that. So I think 33 and then 36. I don't know how I missed this one. Should probably read these these descriptions too. Low mileage, guy who owned it for the last 10 years was paranoid of going outside because he was afraid they would, zero him. Car sat unloved all that time, but you can't escape fate, right? Stray lead caught him through his window. Moral of the story is, you gotta grab life by the balls, so don't be no Scrooge, whip out your cred chip and buy this baby before the same happens to you. Okay, I gotta go from the top again just to see, because I thought it was 33, but clearly there was something much cheaper. So 37, 35. Brennan Apollo, City and desert driving, high utility, minimal frills. And description length not met. Jesus Christ. Reliable, powerful, nomad vibes. Buy it. La 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 la. Okay, you should be able to buy one more. The Tanishi Kuma. If ever a ride felt at home in the water, it'd be this one. Plowing across rivers? No problemo. Flooded ditches? Easy. This Makegai Tanishi Kuma is a 4x4 with heavy-duty external reservoir dampers to cruise right over amphibious terrain and a snorkel system to prevent engine flooding. The heated dashboard is admittedly a side effect of the Tanashi's compact size, but it's actually kind of cozy for cold nights in the middle of nowhere. She's petite, this one, but she's a joy, all right. Don't miss out. Okay, so I think it was 36, but we will see. Yeah. DeLeon Vindicator. This ain't no ride for old timers, and I don't mean old looking. Because we all know everyone in Night City's real skinned up the wazoo. I'm talking about a choom state of mind. You don't keep a 456 horsepower beast on wheels locked up in some suburban villa garage. No sir. You gotta take that thing out for regular spins. The windier the roads, the better. What are wheel arches for if not getting a little wet and muddy? And then you've got the front and rear spoilers. Minus 3 points for charisma, but plus 10 for aerodynamics. All I'm saying is that the Vindicator needs to be used like there's no tomorrow. Carpe diem, or should I say, Carpe de Leon. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. Now this isn't necessarily the best use of my funds, but I do want to get all of the cars at some point, so. And it's suggesting I meet with Reed, but we're still in daylight, so I am going to follow up with the Beast in Me. No one in Night City is only one layer deep. Take Claire, for example, an afterlife bartender who likes to burn rubber in illegal street races when she's on break. If you get the itch for a little adrenaline, I think you can scratch it at her garage. Claire Russell, every regular at the Afterlife knows Claire, the bartender who knows their favorite drink by heart, what they drank last time, and even what their friends ordered. Likewise, most know a few facts about Claire too. She's a trans woman who hasn't installed a single piece of cyberware in her body. She quit her job as a Militech engineer, and she's responsible for immortalizing Night City legends by naming drinks after them on the bar menu. Posthumously, of course. What not all Afterlife clients know, however, is that Claire owns her own auto shop where she can be found spending hours under the hoods of broken down cars and Beast, the rig she takes out on less than legal street races. So most of this is just settling, or just passing the time while we wait for the right time of day. However, the game has added the theft missions to make it a little easier to pass the time. I used to go and maybe try and find some of those Night City PD scanners, so things like that. And I still occasionally do them, but it's kind of nice to just kind of keep moving with purpose through the environment. So I don't go hunting on the map as much as I used to, so much as I just do things as I am traveling between locations. And then, of course, the nice perk is that with all of those car thefts, you do get a discount on the other one. So, like I said before, building up my discount earns me money. And then when I use that money, I get to... Hey, heard about a massacre at a homeless camp. Send you the info I have so far, and yeah, it's a cyber psycho.
Our calculations have determined.
All right, something for me to take care of before I meet with Claire. Oh, I think I remember this one. Unresponsive, no pulse, severe blood loss due to multiple lacerations. Well, this is gonna suck. So presumably they see me. Yeah. I have no problem waiting right now. It just helps me with my my medicine. And presumably, if it goes on long enough, I'll just be able to sneak up on after them. There it is. So this is going to get a little tricky. I wonder if I do a distraction here. Okay, it's working as intended. Okay. The truth about cyberpsychosis. I've had enough of these senseless shootings that claim hundreds of innocents every day. I'm sick of the satire on empathy, deadened implant restriction dialogue. I'm tired of ignoring the cyberpsychosis problem. In American society today, there are still a lot of common myths and misconceptions about so-called technology-related personality disorders. People think they can become infected in sketchy ripper-doc clinics. Scientists allegedly disagree about the causes of the disease or even about whether it exists at all. Maybe their tune would change if a cyberpsycho turned their lab into a slaughterhouse. But even then, I doubt it. They're not getting fat paychecks from the cyberware lobby just to openly declare to the public all the nasty possible side effects that come packaged with their products. I've conducted my own research on cyberpsychosis. With supreme confidence, I can confirm this illness is indeed a byproduct of the modern lifestyle and the obsessive emphasis placed on incorporating modern tech into our lives. Although cybernetic implants can directly affect our brain chemistry, they still serve only as a catalyst for the onset of the disease. Our world is subject to extensive dehumanization. We surround ourselves with increasingly more automated machines and artificial intelligences. Our loved ones replace their nature-given eyes, lips, and faces with masks of metal. Some of us begin to lose sight of what is human. We slip into feelings of total alienation and deep-rooted panic. We lose the ability to distinguish between what is real and what is only artificial, digital, synthetic. Such people begin to isolate themselves, lose their empathy for others, and undergo dramatic mood swings that exhibit sadistic tendencies. The most frightening component to all of this, however, is that most will never be diagnosed. Not all cyberpsychos are known war veterans or former mercenaries equipped with Sandevistan reflex tech. Not all will go out in a blaze of gunfire with max tac. Many cyberpsychos in our world possess only a single implant, a knee, a liver. They are unseen, unnoticed. They lock themselves up and shut out their friends, colleagues, and loved ones. The world outside of the net and their delusions has disappeared from conscious thought. They are sick and alone, and no one is doing a thing about it. There's no eloquent summary to be made here. Let the value of this manifesto be measured by the fact that I was expelled from the Zetatech Cybernetics research team for having written it. Archive conversation, Fred Reed and Moore Jones. More. Got a girl. Congrats, Choom. Everyone deserves a little love and happiness. Oh, not that kind of girl. What kind, then? Someone tossed her in the sewer. Looks like a netrunner. Probably thought she was dead. Choom, are you trying to get your ass zeroed? What? Leave her alone. This shit never ends well. Ah, come on. That's just a superstition. I'm not being superstitious. Anyway, need some meds for her. You grab me something? She needs help. She's barely breathing. You should just take her to a ripper. Nah, I should do it myself. No idea who's after her. Okay? Okay. You can just give me a second here. I did the bad thing of eating at my desk. I think I got a few crumbs on my mouse pad because I seem to be getting a little grit whenever I move the mouse around. Okay, that seems better. I also probably don't need to be sneaking around anymore. Archive conversation, Tamara Crosby and Tony Ludick. Hey Tony, can you send some more stuff please? Yesterday I fell asleep in the tub and must have froze my fingers because I can't feel anything. Scanned all the Valentino's haunts and still can't find them. It's likely vanished into thin air. No digital traces, nothing. None at all? Maybe check the dollhouse, but it's pretty hard to breach their sub. Maybe just give it a rest. He'll come back once he gets homesick. Maybe he just needs some space. Don't say I didn't warn you about the Valentinos. They're like that. One day they're professing their everlasting love, the next they disappear sin parola, and all you've got left are some dirty socks. I didn't even try that pull that I told you so shit on me. You don't even know him, and you're putting him in a box with everyone else. And FYI, he does his own laundry. Listen, these fingers are as good as dead now. Can you just send me some organic implants? All right, just relax. Get some rest. I'll get you what you need. Just promise me you'll get some shut-eye. Psycho was a young runner. I think she must have OD'd and then ducked outside at the last minute, afraid she'd be left to rot all alone. One of the bums from the camp took her in, but when she woke up, her mind was cracked. Guess she thought they kidnapped her. Who knows? Maybe there wasn't a thought between her ears, just a droning buzz. Anyway, she awaits your mystery treatment. It won't be easy to reverse what she went through, but I'm glad you didn't kill her nonetheless. With the right care, she might just get back on her feet. Where was it? So we'll do the Beast in Me and then probably Epistrophe. That was a decent payday.
Come on, baby.
Hey, Claire. Hell of a machine.
You know your shit and you've got good taste. Meet Beast. My pride and joy. Beer in the fridge if you want any.
Thanks. So what's this about?
Need a driver. Thought you might do.
A driver, huh? With you as my navigator?
Not exactly. This kind of racing involves drivers and gunners.
So, you a turret guru or a driver's ed dropout?
I'm more an engine tuner. Good at it too. And I shoot, but I'm no rally racer. I trust you're capable behind the wheel?
But this won't be your first time out, will it?
Don't worry. Done my fair share of rounds.
And your last driver? They quit?
In a way, died in a race a year back.
Sorry. Sure, Claire. I'll be your driver.
Okay, we got 4 races. First one's in City Center. That'll be followed by the Badlands and Santo, then Watson to finish.
There a carrot we're chasing after?
First place gets a payout. That happens, we split it 50-50. Sound fair?
Got goosebumps already. When do we start?
There's a qualifying ladder. Need to climb it to reach the finals.
How high?
Top 3 in at least 2 rallies gets our ticket stamped. Let's meet in City Center. I'll snap you the specifics. You hear the roar of overtuned monsters? That's the place.
See you there.
And now we loot.
Get your shit together, soldiers!
Sheet Metal and You, your guide to auto body repair. Just like you take care of your own body, so too you should take care of your favorite four-wheeled friend. Many ask, when should I pull the trigger on making bodywork repairs? Simple answer, when it's no longer functioning at factory quality, typically as a result of collision damage, corrosion, damage from firearms, or general wear and tear. But before you dive straight into the repairs, you should always first conduct a comprehensive survey of the damage. Not only the damage's nature, but also the damaged part's core function in the vehicle as a whole should be thoroughly considered before choosing the best repair method. Remember, always be sure to have the right set of tools handy before you begin with the repairs, and if there is any organic material still present in or on the vehicle, e.g. blood, bone fragments, etc., always make sure to clean it thoroughly first. Do yourself a favor and don't make your job more difficult before you're even started. But don't forget, quality sheet metal is the most important piece to the car repair puzzle. Follow the link at the end of this manual to check out the shop Martin's Tinware for high-grade materials at unbeatable bargains. Congratulations, you are now the proud owner of a Thornton. We are proud to offer our Thornton guarantee for reliability and convenience at an affordable price. Before you embark on a new adventure behind the wheel of your new Thornton, please take the time to read this owner's manual. Table of contents: instruments and indicators, anti-theft systems, seats, seat belts and rear view mirrors, lights and warning lights, starter, transmission and brakes, ventilation, heating and AC, engine and driving tips, what to do in an emergency, maintenance and care, and service and warranty information. Era, Peter Sampson, Person of the Month. I'm just an ordinary city boy. Read the untold Insider Scoop, Recipe for Success, Money, Cars, and Fine Suits, 1,000 Ways to Enjoy Sex, a Peter Sampson tell-all. The Vampire Prince is back. Monster Hunters beware. Turbo Dracula is a dark, gritty, visceral action game experience where you play as the plasma-thirsty prince of puncture wounds himself, Dracula. He has risen again, this time as a digiclone in a body of chrome, but his appetite for blood hasn't waned one bit. Assisted by the descendants of an ancient bloodline, he wages war against the sinister Helsing Corp, headed by the Demon Brothers Manchester. They aim to take over the world with the help of genetically spliced werewolf zombies. Dracula must face difficult choices, such as whether to resurrect his old friend Viagra or transmute into his nemesis. A polished real-time combat system and non-linear storyline offer the player deep immersion in single-player, while the multiplayer mode allows you to team up with your Chumbas as they take control of brooding Varney or blonde fan favorite Herbert. Without spoiling any of the endings, yes, multiple endings, I'll leave you with just one thing. Lady Carmilla Ruthraven Battery is hands down the most captivating character ever written in the 100-year history of video games. Period. Yep, that's me, all right. See, the police want nothing to do with this.
Fucking something. Always.
Worst streets out at night. Shut the fuck up and get him. Contact! We got enemy contact! Shut the fuck up and get him.
Hey, hey!
Contact! We got enemy contact! Shut the fuck up and get him.
I'm slightly inclined to take them out just so that I don't have to hear that anymore, but I'll be out of here soon anyway. Okay, so we finished that. Let's do Epistrophe, the Badlands. Now, we'll probably wind up in the Badlands on other missions, but given that Phantom Liberty is mostly going to take place in Dogtown, it's probably just as well for me to...
Get your shit together, soldiers!
Probably just as well for me to get this out of the way, seeing as I have some time to kill. Nope. But not before I get a new car. Don't think I'm going to be able to take them out from behind, but oh, close.
Fight.
Huh?
Don't give up!
Fire!
I wanted to try that and do that as non-violently as I could, but with three of them hanging around the car,
It's
kinda hard.
Very eager to swap hands.
But yeah, the problem with these is that they're probably the most... So, there's the individual price that I get for these things. But on top of that, there's the discount.
Something else.
Oop.
Client's got a strict deadline. Seems he's on his way out at NC. Need you to Delta Skelter, V.
This might be tough to do on time, but let's see if we can pull it off. But yeah, so there might be some missions that pay more in terms of like dollar values, or euro dollar values, I suppose is the right way of saying it. But
Watch out, V. Think you piss someone off.
fun. But yeah, one of the big factors that go into most of the decisions I'm making as far as missions is the fact that there's the discount that I get. So in terms of the savings for buying cars, which I'm going to do no matter what, and then the this is going to be really tough to do on time with this many enemies. But yeah, basically the combination of those two things results in theory, a better payout. In practice, obviously, I have this to deal with. So I've got less than a minute, and I'm going to have a lot of enemies to take out.
Cut off that tail of yours.
Okay. Not the best option. I mean, 13 seconds, there's no way we're passing this.
Hey, come on. Instructions were clear as day. You only did part of the gig. You only get part of your cut.
Oh, crap. I thought that was going to be cover. Might still... No, we're in combat still. Might be able to make it. No, they're going to see me. Oh, I got lucky. So yeah, I don't know what I could have done differently there. I'm not entirely sure stopping and fighting the 6th Street was the way to lose the tail. I mean, obviously something happened with the NCPD, but anyways. Get a little less money, but it's still a nice way to spend an afternoon.
Real? I guess it'll do, V. Maybe switch up your game. Try a little harder next time. My man will take care of the rest.
So we'll see what the payout was.
Like 14? Got more body bags than that on our street every morning.
You know the best part?
It looks like there's a dollar. Oh, here we go. 43.70. Okay, back to Epistrophe. We might also try Smoke on the Water, but I think I'm gonna start. I'm gonna take care of the last of the Delamain missions, unless like if it winds up being that there's like an obvious sunset before I can get that handled. I'll do things a bit differently. Oops. is why I buy the cheap stuff. I think I'm slightly better at the driving than I was when I first played Cyberpunk, but still. Sacre bleu! It was always the case that as soon as you say something like that, there's a mishap. Now that the front's banged up, I don't feel so bad about crashing into people. This is not where I want to go. Alright. The game will guide me anyway. Excuse me. One of the, this is absolutely none of my direct concern, and I don't think I'd be able to say anything really intelligent about it, but I know there's been a bit of a change in terms of the way that CD Projekt excuse me, CD Projekt Red is developing their games. So I think there was a fairly widespread announcement that they are switching to Unreal Engine 5 for their future projects, which I believe would mean the Cyberpunk sequel as well as Witcher 4. And then presumably there's, I think there's talk of a third project, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Now, oh, come on.
All units in the area. Criminal activity confirmed in Santo Domingo. I repeat, confirmed criminal activity in Santo Domingo.
521 reporting. Sorry, dispatch. Had to take a look. I'm on route.
Boy. I might just be able to give him the slip here. But one of the points that management sort of made in terms of reassurance was that the engine programmers wouldn't necessarily be laid off. Now, one of the drawbacks is, of course, that CD Projekt Red did experience layoffs. Although the problem here, right, is that as with most of these things, it does become difficult to disentangle, management's statements from other factors that are, going on in the world. So CD Projekt Red would not be the first company to have done those kinds of layoffs. And they're actually, I don't know who was affected. One drawback, of course, is that... I imagine that if you do have a group of people who are seen as surplus to requirements, with a change in terms of technology... Yeah, so you can have the best of intentions, and circumstances can still mean that the original plan that you had of not laying off that group of people changes to them being the most likely. So again, I have no idea what groups were affected. Oop. Okay. I'm gonna see what distance I can get before I go too far. Whoa. Oh, I didn't realize there was a secondary weapon. Might be useful if the police cause trouble. Wow. I don't know how much more this this vehicle can take. Okay, let's see if we can give him the slip. But yeah, so I can believe the claim that says we're gonna hang on to this talent for the simple reason that I think most people can appreciate. You don't just pick up Unreal and then say, okay, all of my engine needs have been taken care of. I imagine that there's actually quite a bit of work that that needs to be done to sort of make make Unreal Engine 5 sort of conform to what a you know, what a CD Projekt game looks like or feels like. This has definitely been one of the longer ones. Oh, come on. Okay, sorry, there was a point I was trying to make and then I lost. I want to do civilians. Who the hell else is in the... Okay, I can outrun them. That's good. I don't think, like, I do think there's a finite amount of health on this vehicle, so it's becoming a lot harder to drive. Okay, anyways, so regardless of whether or not that team is still at CD Projekt Red or... Whoa!
Gotta go.
That crunch really, really sold me. I think it would be fair to say it's hard to see that that's a team that's going to get a lot of attention on, or give a lot of attention to Cyberpunk. Like, obviously, they just need to be delivering on the new product that'll be coming out, which is the sequels. But on the other hand, we are getting the patches. So this is one thing I'm kind of curious about, which is each time the game's gotten an update, I do notice in general some of the complaints that I have in terms of the speed or some of the lags that I've been getting. Those do kind of seem to be fewer and far between. Again, not perfect, but it's better than some of the other cases I've run into.
Oh yeah, I knew I picked the right merc for the gig. Thanks for the help, V. My chum will do the finishing touches.
Let me out of here.
Token of my appreciation's waiting for you in the drop locker.
So I'm curious what a normal payoff for these are now. Okay, probably the Badland. Oh, 4730. That's the same as last time. And apparently something cost me 46 Maybe damage to the car? Anyway, obviously we went out of our way to do that other mission, but I'll take the money-making opportunities where I can find them, and then we can always head back out to the Badlands. We're 10 a.m., so still quite a bit of time if we need to meet people after dark. So this is not a bad example of some of the times I'm a little unsure about the state of the game. I think compared to the responsiveness for the vehicle about an hour ago to now, I think there's actually a little bit more of a drag. And I imagine that probably the frame rate will go up if I reset the game. Now, I don't know if it's severe enough for it to be worth doing. I do kind of want to take a break for some more tea anyway, but this is a little bit of what I'm talking about. Although one thing I will do. Might be able to give them the slip if I have to turn down here. Okay. Gave up on that one pretty quick. But yeah, I don't know. The engine thing, I always feel a little weird because I've said a couple of times where I feel that in general there's a bit too much attention that gets placed on engines. In the worst case, it becomes, you know, a Xbox versus PlayStation, Nintendo versus Sega, you know, PC versus console, whatever, you know, stupid little war you want to get into. That is really not worth anyone's time, frankly. And clearly, like, I don't know, it's very hard to look at something like Ori and the Blind Forest or, I mean, even a couple of the Bloober Team games. So, like, you've got, what was it? Layers of Fear was Unity. There's plenty of very, very good-looking Unity games. I know there's this perception that somehow it's visually less impressive. And obviously there is more than just, you know, the tool set that you're using that goes into how a game looks. feel like I'm smacking into invisible garbage here.
You are receiving.
But on the other hand, I do find it kind of interesting from a business perspective. So a company like CD Projekt Red giving a percentage of all of its profits over building its own technology. I mean, that is a considerable amount. And this is, of course, true for a lot of companies that are using it. So there's always that interesting question, you know, in the case of a ZeniMax, you know, they have the IdTech engine usually.
Get in. We'll find it easier to talk. Hello, V.
Know my name. How?
When you meet a being from another world, should you not charm them and utter their true name?
You didn't answer my question.
Comprehension is a triple-edged sword. I may have been cut off from my father, but I remember you.
So, I'm from another world to you.
From the world of matter, protein-based life forms.
And you come from...
Beyond the Black Wall, V, there lies my home.
Come on, let's get you back to Delamain.
Did Father dispatch you to collect his rebellious children?
Hope y'all don't hold it against me.
I'm a free spirit, an independent, literally thoughtful being. Why would I submit to another?
What is it you seek in this protein-based world, away from your family?
The same as you, V. I simply wish to live.
Maybe you ought to figure it out with Del. Set some terms.
Oh yes, terms there will be, but not with Delamain. Farewell, V. You'd be wise to avoid me entirely.
Welcome to the Delamain Network. How are you today?
Been better. And you, Del?
All of my missing assets have returned to the fold. You might say all is going swimmingly. I ask you, please, to stop by my office for your hard-earned reward. I'd love to thank you face to face, so to speak.
Sure. I'm not going to do the main HQ, though. That I know is a little more involved. Okay, Smoke on the Water is probably the next one. If it weren't for all the screaming dead scavs and that wreck of a car, it'd be a pretty nice place. But hey, that's life. Want to go check it out, see what went down? Try the pier first. Good lord. So I do kind of like that these missions are taking me all over Night City. Number one, because it lets me go all over the place and enjoy the scenery. But number two, it took us about an hour to do the last of the Delamain missions. So, you know, whenever it's 4 or 5 kilometers in game, I can expect to have a nice chunk of time taken out. And again, like I don't mind using the advanced time option, but it feels a little strange to do that. Ooh. It's just a convenient way to open a window. if I can, it's kind of nice to just get stuff done rather than have the game advance time for me. Sometimes that sort of works against me. I'll be like, 5 minutes after when the mission's supposed to start, and I'll have like 24 hours go by. But for the most part, I mean, number one, I feel like it's slightly more credible, having a full day rather than just sort of sitting around waiting for something to happen. And then number two, it gives me an excuse not to sort of focus on just one thing. Although, in fairness, pretty much every single time there's a chance to steal a car, we know what's happening. I'm not even gonna try. Okay, as interesting as that is... I really can't get over that? Close enough. No problema.
Hey, V. 3 new wheels, huh? Flipping you the delivery address now.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Bad news. You only got
Oh, Jesus.
chop,
Alright.
down a client.
2.5 kilometers in 3.5 minutes. Maybe. Depends if there's other stuff that happens. I just know this thing kind of steers like a cow, so it's not, Hey, Tiberiosity, how you doing? Did your raid not happen? Your raid just happened. So thank you very much for that. I don't know if there's something that you saw on your side to say that didn't come up. But thank you very much for the raid. How are you doing? Were you doing Final Fantasy today? It looked like it. Or I could be mistaking you for someone else. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, and I know my alerts are very inconsistent for my alerts are pretty inconsistent for the raids. Most of the time they don't trigger, and I'm trying to figure out exactly why. Although the resubscription does seem to. Remake but not rebirth. I have no idea what the difference is, frankly. Obviously, Sony has a good thing going in terms of just doing cleaned up versions of their favorite games over and over and over again. Remake is part 1, Rebirth is part 2. Okay. I mean, I've never played the original, and I don't know... I know they're making more of their games available on PC anyway. But yeah, I really don't know what the differences are. Oh, was it? Okay, I get it. So they're doing the Hollywood thing of making the movie in multiple parts, so you can buy it 3 times. I'm certainly aware that it is available for purchase, but I just haven't played it. The original, that is, not the remake. I should probably clarify that.
Still tuned in? Stay if you want. We'll keep playing. 92.9 Night FM.
Not gonna lie, V. You got a gift.
Anyways, thank you very much for the raid. And it sounds like you were having a good time, so that's always nice. I'm trying to. I'm not making too much of a push to make main plot. To make some of the main plot missions in terms of Phantom Liberty, but I also don't want to keep too idle. So, for instance, right now, so here's what I kind of suspect is going to be happening. We've got I actually don't know what this one is. So we've got Balls to the Wall, which again is a wait. Shot by both sides indicated that I would probably be waiting. And then Get It Together, I believe, is sort of the main mission, so I want to hold off on that. So if I'm going to wind up waiting, the one indicator I got was I would be waiting until evening. So in this case here, what I want to try and do is get some missions to just use up the daylight and then move on. You're going to go see Spice World. All right. Have a good time. I have not even seen the first one yet, but thank you very much for, again, thank you very much for the raid. I hope to get a chance to maybe talk with you at length, but be sure to come back and let the class know how the movie was. And I've said this a couple of times, but one of the things I always feel a little bad about in terms of driving is that I do like the vistas, but every time I spend too much time taking them in, I always wind up smashing into the back of the vehicle. But this is a particular, the two fish are a nice touch. As promised.
Requesting backup in city center. All units in the area respond. Roger, unit responding. Any plans for the evening dispatch? Dispatch, do you copy? Damn, one of these days.
You seem to get lucky as far as the pursuit is concerned. Yeah, I think what might have happened was because the
I repeat, code 0 in this area. All units resume normal duties.
Because the driver was damaged, I think it counted that as me attacking them. Okay. At some point I should also probably... I've picked up a bunch of weapons, so I should probably take the time to see if there's an upgrade for me. Anyway, something for me to worry about later. seem to remember this one reasonably well. I think, if I recall correctly, this one I can't sneak up on the enemy in this one. Appears to have been killed in a close-range firefight, riddled with bullets fired from a military rifle at close range.
Grimy.
Sofia Ramirez, young woman, clothing suggests sex worker tortured to death several days ago. Appears to have been retreating down the pier, shot in the head with a military-grade rifle. We're going to be seeing a lot of those. I always wondered if these bodies were intended to sort of direct my my movements, but they don't actually seem to. They don't really seem to affect that much. Well-built heavy type looks like muscle, appears to have gathered here for a last stand. Appears to be the group gang leader, only victim not to be killed immediately, suffered a slow and painful death, which presumably means the bad guys nearby. Motherfucker already killed 20 of ours. What's taking so long? He's hunting us, biding his time. 2-3 businesses down the drain because of you. Can't even see him. He's holed up like a rat waiting for the perfect moment. She's just right. She's perfect. You'll see. My fucking ass. What are you waiting for? Draw him out, you lead heads. Use her as bait. Understood, boss. We'll set a trap with the daughter. End this fucker once and for all. It's not about the daughter anymore. It's about revenge. Remind him the girl's all that matters, you dumb sacks of shit. When he pokes his ugly head out, we'll nail him between the eyes. At least he's using his head, unlike you. Yesterday I heard the grass rustle in the wind and thought he was coming to burn down my house. I can't live like this. So I might be able to jump on top of the sort of the store here.
He's gone psycho.
Okay. That was considerably easier than the last time I did this. Unarmed civilian likely hiding during the shootout, killed by some military-grade rifle used to kill the gangers. We want a truce. Interested? I want my daughter, and I'll get her with or without a truce. We made a mistake. We want to give her back. Damn right you did. When and where? Pier in Pacifica. We leave the girl, and we go our separate ways. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Don't make me look for you. V got a hot gig. Some soldier just opened fire on pedestrians at the pier. Try and grab him for me alive. If you can't, well, at least give it a try, and I'll send you the right people. Excuse me, the right people for him. He's outfitted in full military gear. But why the... so he could be a vet suffering from PTSD. But why the get-up? Maybe he felt the cyberpsychosis coming on and wanted to look the part? Something doesn't add up. Wasn't easy, but I managed to keep him alive. Glad you made it out in one piece and left our guy alive. Too bad NC's apex predators already sniffed him out, meaning max tack. Probably best if we get out of their way this time. Tigers took a liking to the girl and decided to turn her into a doll. Big mistake. Little did they know her daddy was ex-special forces. Wasted no time in hunting their sorry hides down. Only option they had left was to lure him into a trap. Bigger mistake. Don't underestimate an ex-commando who wants his daughter back. He hunted every last tiger as easily as if he was on a goddamn safari. Gangers picked the wrong tomb to fuck with. So they're not exactly rolling in eddies, but if I wanted to buy another vehicle, I have the option. The main focus here, though, is definitely to pick up as much cash as I can before trying to take advantage of any discounts. So we have 9 more Cyber Psychos, lots of Tarot. Bart Moss might be kind of interesting. I have no idea about War Pigs. I'll take a quick look at that. We're still early afternoon, so... There's also some points that I can put towards... actually, there's a couple of things that I can do. So, in addition to all of the skills that I'm saving up, part of that is just a question of wanting to preserve the options. So, I'm pretty sure there's a respec option inside of this that I just, I'm trying to think what's the right way to put this. There's a point that I really liked someone making, and obviously this is a hard one for me to do personally, but somebody was, I think it was actually somebody at Twitter was talking about, I don't know, designing their content for to be listened at 2 times speed or something like that. And I follow Ken Cosienda, so I liked his book on his time at Apple called Creative Selection, I believe. And I'm pretty sure he was the one who just said, just say half as much. And, again, easier said than done. But it's a good point, right? Like, there's a lot... This is one reason I don't like learning stuff on YouTube, is that, I was reading... Actually, a great example of this... I read a really interesting article called What Are We Waiting For? WEIGHTING for. Hey! Okay, this is actually kind of hilarious that I have the animal with me. But yeah, so there's a fun little bit. There's a book called Mostly Harmless Econometrics, which is a great name for a book, and it's well done. But you would think with a title like that, despite the fact that that's obviously a reference to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, you would kind of think that this might might imply a lighter touch on econometrics, and it is certainly one that you want to have a fairly good grasp of, matrix algebra and preferably some basic econometrics concepts before reading. There is a simpler one called Mastering Metrics. I'm actually in this really tough spot of being kind of in the space between the two. So I think Mastering Metrics, I sort of felt that I was getting a little bit of a lighter version of what I wanted to get out of Mostly Harmless Econometrics. But whenever I read Mostly Harmless Econometrics, I always sort of feel like I'm not following the argument as closely as I could, just because, you know, I'm not as familiar with working with the terms that they do. And part of that is just simply because for a large part of undergrad, usually, I think professors usually want to try and make their courses as accessible as possible, and sometimes this will mean trying to create as few prerequisites for the mathematics as possible. But the drawback is this meant that I was actually getting to third and fourth year econometrics courses without really engaging deeply with these concepts in matrix algebra. And inevitably, like basically,
Don't spend it all on XPDs and glitter.
you know, you'll do one course and they'll say, okay, you know, and when you do your intermediate course, you'll do this in matrix algebra. Then you get to the intermediate course, and like, well, when you do the advanced course, you know, this'll be done in matrix algebra. And then, you know, I get to grad school and they're like, and as you should know from your advanced course, you know, and then they'll do it all in matrix algebra. And of course, I have not had that experience of engaging with these ideas in that format. Now, I'm better than I used to be at it. I mean, I got through grad school, for crying out loud, but it's still not a very natural way for me to think about these. And when you engage with that kind of thinking, like, there is a natural reaction to running into mathematical notation, unless you're one of those really infuriating people who naturally thinks that way. And I don't think anybody naturally thinks that way, but some people are wired to follow the argument. But basically, anytime I see mathematical notation, it's very easy to just sort of go on autopilot and skim over it. But the thing is that the content is in those equations. So well, they're not always equations, but usually they're equations. So it can be something that you need to sort of train yourself not to do. But again, like, being able to sort of skim through different material is valuable. And in that one, it talks about, so it's, again, a reasonably, I don't want to say like super advanced, but it is a reasonably content heavy econometrics book. And it talks about the fact that, you know, even 20 years after their PhDs, the authors are still not entirely comfortable with the concept of survey weights, or any kind of weighting for that matter, in their empirical work. And this is actually true for a lot of papers. So this, what are we waiting for, paper. So I was originally looking for a very specific thing, which is actually in the third or fourth section. I did wind up reading the entire paper because it was quite well written, and it covered a few more cases than what I was originally planning on. But the main thing about that is that if I, like, imagining that they didn't do a paper, imagining that it was on some kind of like YouTube video or something like that, I would have had to sort of sift through probably 20 minutes of material that might have been relevant, you know, to the intended audience, but wasn't directly relevant to me. On the other hand, I also know a lot more people watch YouTube videos than read papers or books. So, but anyways, I actually don't remember why I went on the say half as much tangent, but I will just accept. I'll accept that I had a point that I will never return to. But I may take a break for some tea. Let's see what War Pigs brings, and then I'll probably set aside some time. Oh, yeah, I think I said I was going to, oh, I wasn't supposed to go here. Anyways, I do, if I can, want to, another car theft mission. Incidentally, that hospital, I do sometimes wonder, because I do get the impression that this game was inspired by Grand Theft Auto. I do sometimes wonder if this hospital was intended to be where if you died in the game, I do sometimes wonder if this was where you would be dumped off or where you would exit instead of the game just ending. Hopefully it doesn't give me a timer, but we've got open road ahead of us if it comes down to it. But yeah, I think after turning this in, I will see if there's any improvements in terms of weaponry for me. I don't know if I will break down the items or not, and then I don't know. I still kind of feel like War Pigs might be the one for me to try. I'm sure when I run into it, I'll learn what the mission is, but it does still feel like a shame to let the afternoon get away from me, just because I don't want to try base game missions.
Right, now get the fuck over here. Kinda in a hurry on this one.
Okay, 3-ish minutes, 3 kilometers. Not my favorite, but we should be able to handle it. I do want to be careful of collisions, though. Okay, so far so good. And it doesn't seem like we're being pursued, which is nice. I think this might be... No, this isn't.
That you are listening to 103.5 Radio Pepcac. The numbers never lie.
Oh, I have not seen a car available for sale out in the wild in a while. I might even want to follow up on it, save for the fact that I have 1 minute and over a kilometer to go. So I'm hoping we can put that distance between us pretty quickly, but I am a bit worried about my ability to deliver. The twists on the road are the biggest worry I have. This is one of these ones where I suspect I might be like a minute or like a second away from being able to roll in, and the timer blinks out. Oh, I hate you. Oh no! How do I even fix this? Yeah, there's no way I'm getting this. I'll try, but...
I don't think you got the assignment, V. I'm gonna have to dock your payout.
Yeah, that's a that's a shame, just because, like, it didn't exactly give me that much wriggle room, but I definitely feel like that's one I could have pulled off.
Could have been better, much better. But I'll take the hit in a forgiving mood for once. My man will take care of the rest.
Okay. So, where were we? War pigs. I'm going to take a minute before we go too far in to see if I've got any upgrades. Don't think I want to change the look. I mean, we can try, but as stylish as that looks. The quick hack time reduction is actually not a bad one to have. This technically gives me more, but it looks ridiculous. And I will not be made to look ridiculous. So, none of this matters because it's not going to be visible. I am still looking for some better pants, but actually some better shoes for that matter. None of these will do. Okay, so pistol-wise, we're currently using a new... I believe we actually got another one of these. The easiest thing for me to take a look at is the sorting. None of the pistols are really there. But what I might do... Oh, there's the ambition. So what's the story here? Better headshot, same armor penetration. Oh, no charging. Yeah, I mean, this thing hits like a truck, so it's hard for me to see. And I think the only reason this one is delivering anything different is because it doesn't have the scope on it. So this one I'm actually okay disassembling. Do I really have a second one of those? Now this one's a little harder to make a decision on because it looks like it already has a couple of other upgrades. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take care of the pistols first. So this is an iconic revolver, so I wouldn't get rid of this anyway. This Omaha, again, tempting. I might even keep it in the inventory. I'm not going to get rid of any of the iconics. I've got 2 Liberties, so... And this one's already got an improvement on it, so we'll scrap this one. Okay. The assault rifle's where I start to cut a little more deeply. So the first thing I want to take a look at is what are my options for sniper rifles? Looks like there's only one. So I'll scrap that. Actually, the better thing for me to do, so let's start by seeing if I've got a better assault rifle. Looks like no. Which I'm fine with. I can live with that. So if we do it by type, I think these are all different types of pistols. Yeah. I don't think I need a double-barreled shotgun, so we'll get rid of these. I'll hang on to one shotgun. I don't see the value in keeping more than one. Now these are more than one warden. I think we've been hanging on to this one pretty much forever. This one we can get rid of. This one has add-ons. I'm not crazy about this smart link stuff right now. This is an interesting one. I'll get rid of that. Could actually probably afford to just generally get rid of most of the submachine guns. So 32.55. Okay, these are both the same type. They do roughly the same amount of damage, so maybe I will hang on to them. Okay, this Kyubi. So I mean, technically, this is the better one. I don't exactly use the ricochets, but there's no rule saying that I couldn't start doing that. Oops. Say I don't mind scrapping you. These two Mamasumes. I don't like either of these modifiers, to be honest. Okay, when I'm indecisive, I'll just leave those aside. 153, 151. They're both tech. Actually, they're both the same. Okay, 300%. 300%. Lower stamina cost. Lower armor pen. Definitely prefer this one. And we've got two precisions. We've got the Achilles, and oh, these are both Achilles. Okay, probably not the most important thing I could have been doing. I will see if we've got a better scope for this thing. Additional zoom. Yeah, the handyman is definitely an improvement. The funny thing is we can actually scrap a number of these. I only need 2. And it's hard to see what added value this is giving if we can equip this short scope. I expect for most of these, the trade-off on the muzzles, like, I think for the most part, I've just never, I've never been happy with what I give up for these. I think there's one that actually might make the weapon non-lethal. No, I think that's a mod, actually. Better magazine capacity, but worse reload speed, better crit chance. Yeah, none of these really... Oh, this is interesting. I think I'm actually gonna... Oh, okay, can't switch. And I imagine I'm not going to be able to do much with the new... Like, so this has the advantage of being non-lethal. Okay, so 143, 146. But this is faster, so we'll scrap you. 51 versus 43. Don't need that. I don't know. I don't need to worry too much about it. I'm reasonably happy with where we wound up there, though. Okay. So I will follow up on War Pigs, but I think I'm going to take a small break to refill my tea and then, I don't know, just generally reorient myself. So hopefully I stop... hopefully I stop... rambling as much. I think what I will do as well, I'm going to go to the main menu. I'm actually going to restart the game. Number one, this will give people like something to listen to and look at while I'm on my break. But I think I'm going to reset the game just to see if we can maybe improve the responsiveness a little bit more. I don't really think I've been having that much of a problem, but I don't know. I figure you can enjoy the nice opening menu music. I'll try not to be too long, but I do, like I said, I want to get some, I want to get my tea, I want to get everything else sorted out. So, and I will run ads, if nothing else, just so I can save whoever comes by the trouble of the pre-roll. So if you have been here from the start, maybe now is time to get up, have a stretch, get a glass of, or a cup of tea yourself, whatever it is. I'll see you in a few minutes. I tried snacking on something, so my mouth is full, but I'm back. I'm going to reset the game. And then hopefully I'll finish. My mouth won't be full when we're ready to play. Something is actually stopping me from... Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's going to take a minute to load the cloud. And then we should be good to go. Apologies for the wait here. Just I'm at 20% on the sync. %70%. I know it's very exciting to hear a streamer announce the sync. Okay, we're ready to go. And I just lost my stream manager. There we go. But yeah, thank you everybody for your patience. I try not to go on break too much, but where are we? Sorry, I never took a look at the DLC or the free DLC option in the launcher. Okay, everything's there. But yeah, I try not to do too many breaks during the stream, but it's especially because it's cold out. I mean, I drink a bunch of tea during the stream anyway, but particularly when it's cold out, it's really nice to have something that has been freshly boiled. So this will keep me happy for the remaining time. And this shouldn't take too long to load. Yeah, there we go. Nope, never mind. All right. Yeah, so I've kind of gone through my inventory. I'm reasonably happy with where we're at here. I am going to see what War Pigs is. Again, I'm fairly certain I've done this at some point. I just don't remember what it was. And then depending where we are in the day, I'm tempted to go to Dogtown, and then maybe we'll see what missions we can do without waiting. And if I have to wait for all of them, so be it. It's not as much of the day as if I went to Dogtown at 9 o'clock. My one small, not even gripe, but the one drawback about today was I was talking with the friend who I quoted at the beginning of the stream, just in terms of how much they enjoyed Cyberpunk and what they got out of the story. I've talked about a couple of the topics in the game before, but there are definitely a few things that struck out to me, and I like to talk about them when they emerge in the game, but I don't necessarily. Hey, Takri, how you doing? Did I think I saw on one of your statuses that you were doing Call of Cthulhu recently. I hope that went well for you. It's always very nice to see you. I hope you are doing well. I haven't had a whole lot to... I don't know, I feel like I've been babbling, but I haven't had a coherent thing to say, so I don't know. This might be a waste of your hard-earned leisure time, but I will do my best. Oops. You've been running a game. I don't know what RDI is, but I am. I keep forgetting. Like, I know you had a D&D game that you were running for yourself, but I always keep associating you with being a player rather than someone running a game, and I know that that is a terrible, terrible assumption. From what I understand, you were actually quite capable. I was going to say quite competent, but that sounds like a backhanded compliment, which I don't intend. But I believe you were quite a capable GM/DM/storyteller/dice puncher, whatever the official term is. I think it's just most of the time whenever we talk, we always talk from the player perspective. So that's kind of my default. All right. Let's see. Nope, this is going to be one that we shut down a vehicle for.
Hey, V. Got a real sweet ride around these parts. How about you bring her over? Already know how it's done.
Do a lot more for your second group. You kind of had to for reasons, feeling much more capable after the first. That's good. I get the impression that the new job might actually have a bit of a gaming community, but I've also sort of noticed there's the official groups that are listed on some of the internal websites, and then there's a bunch of informal stuff. I'm still trying to get a feel for. It's almost kind of like being in a workplace with secret societies. One of the things that actually really caught my attention, and this, for those of you that are wondering where I was on Wednesday, that was the local game dev meetup, Dirty Rectangles. So I always try and stop by, and it was actually a really, even though GDC is on, it was actually a really, really good turnout. There were a bunch of students from one of the local universities that stopped by. Or they may not be students anymore. It might just be graduates from the program. But either way, it was really great to have some more people in, because I know one of the organizers has been feeling a little, I don't want to say discouraged, but they've definitely been feeling a bit, or talking a bit about sort of the turnout. Sorry, just give me a minute while I...
Hang on, gotta go.
I tried to do it the non-violent way. Well, non-lethal way might be the better term. Anyway, so I gave a talk on something that I've been wanting to write about a few different times, and actually there's a conversation I had with or an email exchange I had with someone whose sort of opinions I value quite a bit, but also they have some interesting opinions on game development. Okay. Maybe this time I am going to try and get rid of the tail early. God. Just wanted to try and take out the drivers, but that didn't seem to do the trick. Anyway, so this will eventually be an article that that comes out, but part of it is an effort to try and talk in an intelligent way about generative AI. Now, actually, so the thing for me is that I would like to talk about AI writ large, but the thing is that a lot of stuff gets called AI today, so that's a big topic, and people will be bringing their own baggage to those terms, and so already, you know, you're sort of doomed to an uninteresting conversation if you approach it, like if you don't account for how people might react. Not that you always need to, you know, to worry about what other people are going to say. Like sometimes. Oh, good lord. Okay, police are going to get mad at me, and we. Actually, you know what? At this point, that might just make them more angry, but... okay, so... Anyways, I did get to do a talk on this thing that I've been doing some writing on. The reason why I go for the generative AI is it's probably the harder case to make. This is the poor little truck that could, yes! Although I don't know how poor it is. But yeah, generative AI is probably the one that provokes the strongest reactions, and while I don't think it's the most interesting topic for, you know, for a game-oriented audience, I do feel that it can lead. Like if you can make the case there, then you can probably make the case for the simpler cases. So the talk seemed to go rather well on Wednesday, but what I found kind of interesting. So the one problem I ran into is I think I came off as a much bigger AI booster than I actually am. My actual take has usually been deep skepticism of most claims that people make, and most of the times that I actually try to use the tools in ways that out of the way, even in ways that I've previously been able to successfully use them, I do tend to find that their capabilities have degraded a bit. So one thing I used to really like using some of the LLMs for was like an augment to Google. I think a lot of you have probably noticed, like if you're looking for a technical thing,
Thanks for the help, V. My chum will do the finishing touches.
There'll be like, so like let's say you're looking for information about a Python library, or maybe you're looking for like the details on a function or something like that. The first 3 or 4 results that you get are not going to be the Python documentation. Usually what you're going to get is something that has basically copied and pasted the Python documentation and then just encased it in a whole bunch of advertising. And then they do a bunch of search engine optimization to put them as the, you know, first or second result. And this is pointless. I also find that that there will be Stack Overflow answers that are just wrong, and because they're again the number one result. You know, you have to sift through those. So it used to be that some of the LLMs were pretty good for combing through that and then sort of having it as if you're having an exchange with maybe one of your better informed coworkers or something like that. That is happening less, I'm noticing. Incidentally, if I can't afford the most expensive thing here, I am going to wait. Yeah, so we need 675, it looks like. Okay. How am I supposed to get there? All right. Alley-oop. But yeah, so anyways, even for these, like, so it's kind of like, you know, you've got a coworker who sort of knows how things work at the place that you are, so then you open up the LLM, and that's kind of what it's like whenever I'm looking for something that is information that you know you can get on the internet, but it's something that is encased in a bunch of, a bunch of the stuff that basically makes Google not as good as it used to be. And I've noticed that over time the LLMs are getting a little worse at that, and it might be because they're relying too much on the search results that I am trying to avoid. But either way, it's something that I've noticed. But with that in mind, I haven't written it off as a possibility. A comparable case that I think I might be able to make was my attitude towards blockchain, particularly in games. That one I was more skeptical of. In fact, if you asked my honest opinion on it, I would say it probably doesn't have a future in gaming. But I also wasn't ready to write it off for the simple reason that very often what we tend to find is that, creative and, kind of technologically sophisticated industries do tend to find unexpected ways of incorporating things that, at the time maybe seem quite foolish or maybe even impossible. So to me, the view was like, I'm not going to say it's an impossibility, but it's something that I personally wouldn't assign a high probability on. And again, the world's not over yet, so maybe there will be some sort of blockchain application that that people can make a good game, good feature out of. But so far, the skepticism seems to have been well-founded. There does seem to be a similar attitude in terms of AI, specifically generative AI, but I am much more... I personally can see that actually becoming a feature in future game development in some form, as opposed to just writing it off as some pipe dream. Now, again, this can sometimes, depending on the circles you're in, this can be heresy to speak, but, I think if you're going to try and sort of take the measure of what's going on, you sort of owe it to yourself to be honest about these things. So the drawback, though, is, again, my own private views on these things usually leans towards skepticism. So, for instance, when people make incredible claims about AI techs, I very often think they either, one, don't know what they're talking about, or two, that they are overstating the claim. I'll finish the thought before I try Roach Race, but I'm determined to get to number one at some point on this. But the thing is that if I want to try and talk intelligently about, the concept overall without trying to bring my own baggage in, I can come off as a bit of a booster for this stuff, and that certainly was the case for the talk. There are definitely a couple of indications where I think what I was saying probably wasn't quite taken in the way I'd intended. One of the things I was trying to talk about was the difference between sort of a point solution and a more systematic change. So a point solution would be, this thing makes art, therefore I don't need artists anymore. And I don't think that's an interesting way of looking at the technology. I also don't think that's necessarily going to be the most effective way of working with it. For the simple reason, if you want to replace someone's work, you need to actually be able to replace every part of the chain. And that very clearly isn't happening in a good way in gaming. So one thing that might be slightly more useful here is to say, okay, this actually is very good at generating textures, which means that now this level designer is able to create something that looks a bit closer to the finished product. And that might mean that you don't have somebody dedicated to making textures anymore, but those people probably will now be put towards creating more levels or larger levels than what they had before. That's obviously different from sort of firing everybody. That's more about shifting the composition of the workforce. A little bit like what we were talking about with whether or not CD Projekt Red needs engine people anymore. I did bring this up for a reason. So it wasn't specifically to bring up the talk. Or was it? Damn it. Alright, I'm gonna play a bit of Roach Race and see if it comes back to me. Nope. It's 2 pieces of fruit and veg I've missed. No. It may not have been necessary to glitch, but I'm feeling a bit self-conscious about the run now. I'm sure I could have glitched to get that apple, but ah! All right. We've got a long way to go. I will go back to the main menu and move. Oop. Get me out of here. Okay, give it a minute to get back to the real world. There we go. Oh yeah, so I remember the reason I was gonna bring this up, and it's about the weird and wonderful stuff I can find out at work. So I'm part of a writing group at my work. Like just one of these things. Like there's basically just different clubs and things like that where I work. It's a reasonably large workplace, so there's kind of a club for everything, including a choir, it turns out. I was actually a choir at the last place I worked too, so apparently workplace choirs are a much more common feature than I had originally assumed. And in the writers group, I'd kind of talked about a couple of things. It does seem to be that there were a couple of members of the group who are quite fond of the idea of LLMs generating text, which surprised me because usually people who write tend not to like that sort of stuff. And I tried to offer as close to the opinion that I actually have, usually along the lines of, I don't want to rule it out as a possibility, but when I actually take a look at the goods, it really doesn't seem to have given me what it promises. And I can think of some situations where I'm teaching myself not to do difficult things, and I would wonder as to whether or not that allows me to grow, which is kind of my general view on using this for the quote-unquote creative stuff. But what...
Miss the warmth of the corporate lab? That unique thrill of internal power struggles?
Butt out, not your biz.
I get it. Fine. I'm gonna go take a piss.
Empty. Huh. Damn.
Hello, V. Man, time flies.
For a death just ain't what it used to be.
Keyword inferred. But Abernathy is purging the debt. Purged me. They took my house, accounts, implants. But I'm not done. Gonna prove she was wrong about me. Shove it down her throat.
Ah, see you make your move stepping on me. Gonna serve my head up on a silver platter? And you think Abernathy will welcome you back, arms outstretched?
That's about the size of it. Now turn. Hands on your head. Hop to it.
Listen, Frank. I'm nobody to Abernathy. Probably doesn't know I exist, if she ever knew.
You had it in for her, V. We're setting her up. People don't forget shit like that.
No, that wasn't me. That was Jenkins' thing. Just use me as his tool. So what? Back to the office? Recently fired employee walks in, gun in hand. They'll shoot you, and then put me down.
So what am I supposed to do? Huh? What the fuck can I do?
It's a closed book, Frank. Gotta refigure your life. Game over. Start again.
Start again? Got nothing to start with. Less.
Got iron in a full clip. Add a little gumption, you're good to go in NC. Just keep it together, Frank.
Nothing like running into old friends and reminiscing, huh? Ah, the golden days.
It's really interesting that Johnny's
Not
on
in the mood, Johnny.
Same couch as Frank.
Should be. Look at your luck. I mean, could have wound up all jittery like him. Have a nice night, V. I'll be at home.
Cool. All right. So anyways, I know I'm taking a really long time to get to the point on this, but what happened was I talked a little bit about how these articles that I'm trying to write are actually something that I've written about 3 different times in 3 different ways. And I've always had this feeling, it's like, okay, this will just annoy people, and, you know, it's, nobody wants to read this, or at least nobody, you know, the people who will wind up reading it are not going to get anything out of it, and so on and so forth. And it turns out the person I was sitting next to talking about, and then I sort of said, is like, but this time, no matter what, especially after this email exchange that I had with someone, I am 100% going to, you know, going to deliver this time, because it is very clear that that there is sort of something worth saying on this. So it turns out the person who I was sitting next to was first of all, they used to be a journalist. And after they sort of said, it's like, you know, every article I've written that, you know, wound up getting, you know, a very good response. I always had that feeling. And like you talked a little bit about the difference in terms of perspective between someone who has some knowledge on the subject, and overall I just found it a really helpful, you know what, screw it. I realize I'm playing like the Terminator here. It's not quite the way this character's built, but yeah, so obviously it's just nice to have that kind of encouragement. Although again, I had absolutely no idea that I was sitting next to a journalist. But on top of that, they then followed up and said, "Is like, are you a member of the AI group here?" And I was like, again, I have absolutely no idea about half of these things. So they got my name and about 15 minutes later I'm added to a private group at work. So Again, like the one thing I kind of liked about that was the perspective definitely didn't seem to be like join the AI group so that we can all talk about how great this life-changing technology is. It does actually seem to be a discussion of the technology as it is. Okay, I'm gonna take the hard turn and then... Oop. Another little truck that could, it seems. It looks like I won't be taking the hard turn after all. Still, could have worse songs for the gunfight. Haha, that was a good one. Alright. Holy smokes. Wow. Pretty glorious fuck up there, V. If I wanted fuck ups, I'd hire any old scop for brains goon off the street, not you. Make sure the ride gets to me next time. I hope that's clear. I think that's the first one of those I failed, but that was a lot of fun failing. I think we just swim forward. But yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I don't... I like that the reason why I wound up in this group seems to be less to do with, you know, okay, you know, I'm on team OpenAI or team ChatGPT or, well, I guess that's the same team, but, or team Gemini or something like that. But it is sort of a recognition in terms of being sufficiently interested and being able to contribute to a wider set of discussions. But now that I've kind of had this experience a couple of times in terms of finding out what people's interests are, and like on top of that, just finding out that some of those interests are much deeper and much more interesting. So again, I didn't necessarily know this person was a journalist or former journalist. I definitely get the impression that there will probably be more than a few people who are into tabletop, but whether or not I'm able to find them is a whole other question. So, anyways, I'm sorry, Kree. I know that was it's like an hour ago that you talked about running things, but I am kind of hoping that I can find a decent enough group at work with to maybe run the lady afterwards. But we'll see. It's also a side of me that probably would enjoy just playing rather than running. Actually, on the separate note, obviously I sent you that Lovecraft image, well, tweet. I didn't appreciate that you were playing, let alone running, Call of Cthulhu at the time I sent that, so... Okay, well, it's not exactly sundown, but I figure we can head to Dogtown unless I wind up with another theft mission. It's probably not as big of an impact to, Nope, speaking of theft missions. Stop in the name of the law! Hey, come back here. It is really hard to get a headshot at this distance.
You are receiving us at 103.5 Radio Pepcac. Do not change your frequency.
eternal slide.
All good. Let's go. Check the ports.
Okay, let's see if we can avoid losing the vehicle this time. Figure one good place to start would be to avoid bridges. It's an apartment to buy if I wanted. I don't know if I get discounts for apartments though, so. And this seems to be a pretty straightforward one. Uh-oh, we're on a bridge. Mission's already failed. Yeah, I don't know. This one didn't have any special objectives. Maybe he's sitting me at the kids' table until I can show that I can handle it again.
Oh yeah, I knew I picked the right merc for the gig. My man will take care of the rest. Little token of my appreciation's waiting for you in the drop locker.
Okay, I think I might be... no, I'm a couple thousand short. I was going to say, I think I might be able to afford another vehicle, but I think I need at least one more. Although the discount's probably deeper now as well. Okay, Paco and Babs maybe, but I want to do... shot by both sides first. I'm curious if this really is just a kilometer away. I'm curious, I walk just about everywhere, so I'm curious how far, what's the maximum distance you would be willing to walk to get somewhere? When I got my Apple Watch, I actually found out when all was said and done, it would not be unusual for me to walk about 12 kilometers a day, which I think is probably a little bit more than people are willing to. Well, I don't know. I mean, like in the total of a day, that can't be that bad. The number might be higher now because I work in a pretty big building, like horizontally as opposed to vertically, so I imagine that probably oh, actually I gotta factor that into my costs. I might be making a little bit more, but I'm gonna have to replace my shoes at a faster rate. My real income may have dropped. Anyways, I'm guessing probably 12 kilometers a day is a little bit more than what most people would be willing to work with. It has been a while since I've walked into Dogtown. Of course. Hey, V, got the cords for our first race. We're going to be stinking up the Corpo's backyards. First off is Vista del Rey, so they can't turn a blind eye. Then we'll piss off the upstanding citizens of the Glen, make some noise around Corpo Plaza, and finish at the docks and Wellsprings. Let's meet at the starting line, corner of Martin Luther King Boulevard and Skyline East. Holler when you get there. Roger that. Thanks. Okay, as much as I want to do that, I know this one does involve waiting for the race to start, so let's go back to shot by both sides. It's really interesting if you have your task manager up when playing this. I'd always kind of wondered why when I went to the map, it would feel like when I get to the main game, the game sort of starts lagging. Now, number one, this is a Dogtown thing for sure, but number two, actually, I'm wondering maybe, but it turns out when you go to the map, for instance, what happens if you take a look at the performance, so this moment here is a big boost in terms of CPU usage. And generally, I'm actually noticing this time my graphics card is it's still pretty close to the top. But normally here, it seems like it's kind of switching between the CPU and the GPU. And it seems to be that specific transition that causes sort of this lag. I can't quite explain why that sometimes seems to improve the overall state of things. But it does. I'm getting kind of close to wrapping up, so I'm not going to try and reset the game. I am, however, going to try and do this mission, though. Okay, I don't think there's a way for me to do this without getting noticed, but I'll do my best. There's got to be more than 3 guys.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Definitely more than 3 guys, but net running gear for Io Zarin. Dodger's orders, airdrop for the Voodoo Boys in Dogtown. Net running gear, the VBDs will grab the container. Contact them when you're near Dogtown. To pack 6 Netrunner chairs, memory boosters with 4th and 5th gens demons, 10 Raven Micro Cyber Mark IV Cyber Decks, and some extra RAM. I really wish they didn't double up the keys.
Just try the stadium. Nope, not my problem. Not about to save your ass again. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, same text. Now my best bet is probably to do a system collapse. Actually, before any of that, I should probably just grab the goods. Okay, 7A55, 7A, yep. Sometimes the simplest answer is the way to go.
What? Huh?
Oh, come on.
Rats or something. Whatever.
From the side!
That's a lot of guys.
Come on! Come on! The side's open! Search everything! We got a troublemaker, boys!
Okay. Recharging.
Exposed! Going in from the side!
Recharging RAM is not a bad idea right now.
Got a troublemaker here! Listen to me, goddammit! You didn't sign up for this shit! Stubborn fucking prick!
I want to reload, but they might, yeah. So I might be able to ricochet that last guy, yeah. Not exactly how I wanted to handle it, but...
Where are you? Someone's nearby.
Okay, so the one nice side effect is that I have a bunch of loot to get. Just not quite how I planned on spending the opening moments of Dogtown. Hard to say no to another relic. Okay. I can open the perk tree, but let's see where the mission goes.
Eye me?
Better look around.
Cement dust, athletic, shoe size 7. I mean, I'll follow whatever lead I can find. I do like that they haven't abandoned... Oh. Definitely the movements of somebody who doesn't want to be followed. I do like that they didn't abandon the whole investigative component from... that this is enabled. I always felt that they could do a little bit more with this, but I like that even the DLC, operational, present, turned on, production year 2013. Lol, this box is for old people.
Hold it!
Hey, chill. You hired me. Said to meet here.
You get the card?
Oh, I'd love to do first time holding a gun,
Not
but
another step!
This what you wanted?
Yes. Sorry. But, you know, I can't trust anyone. Great. Give me the card. We'll go inside. Shouldn't remain in plain sight.
Here. Might have mentioned this was about Militech from the get-go.
Okay.
I'm assuming this is a deliberate
As far as I know,
retro
nobody's
reference.
been here in the last decade. And the systems date back to 2013.
God, so old.
Fingers crossed. We're in. Some of the security measures might still be active, so you go first.
Hoping you're not tossing me into a minefield.
Target not electrically powered.
Got turrets, but they're offline. Come on in.
Shit. Card's not working. Hang on. Let me see if there's another route. This way. Let's go.
I assume all is going according to our plan. Call when you're finished. Hey, Vesper, how are you doing? I've been doing a lot more side quests, although I know you were, you commented rather specifically on the Swallow a Load of Bliss slogan for Sham Paradise. We actually had a couple of the commercials that we drove by, and it was hard not to think of your comment, but you are a tired bat. I don't blame you. It looks like you were streaming. I don't recall the game's name, though. It seems like something new. In any case, for those of you who are not familiar with Vesper Fortune, Vesper is a YouTuber, Twitch streamer, and a VTuber. So has a bat alter ego who I believe reads fortunes. Somebody who's a lot of fun to have around, particularly during Old World, due to his very specific knowledge of some aspects of the ancient world, specifically Alexander's extracurriculars. But someone who I'm very happy who I got to find through Book of Hours, I believe. Well, Book of Hours / Cultist Simulator. I don't think you have actually streamed Book of Hours yet. But definitely somebody I was happy to catch streaming a Grail run was it Grail? I think you were playing the Bright Young Thing but somebody who I stuck around and got a chance to see do a lecture on Satanic Panic, on more Cultist Simulator things, some Christmas movies, and just overall a fun fella to hang out with. So you've been getting up at 7 a.m. this entire week, so your energy level is dead. Good Lord, man. I definitely feel it. Like I've definitely been getting up earlier for work lately, but I've also been like working longer and harder than I did at the old job. So I definitely feel it as one of the main reasons why I've been starting the streams a bit later. But anyways, very good to see you as always, Vesper. I hope you get some much deserved rest soon. A little busy now, but yeah, all good. We'll buzz when done.
We've been lucky so far, but watch out. Can't know what these old systems will do.
Please, I got this.
Your face! Scanner didn't recognize you!
Sacre bleu! That's a really clever move that they did there, though. I could have, one thing I could have done to avoid that would be to do the
All clear now.
do the ping. These things aren't going to stay off forever, though.
Gents first.
Take him out!
Man, they never, they don't light up. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the beams. Oh, there we go. I do like, so normally the traps that are set in the previous parts of the game I didn't always feel were the most challenging. I think this has got a pretty devious layout. Like I quite like the way they've done this, even though it does mean that I have to work for my wins. It is always kind of nice when you run into a game like this that you know, like you have a
Keep it up.
you have a level that it sort of feels like somebody has taken the time to stop you from being able to do what you want to do.
We're almost there.
Yeah, but I have stuff I want to loot. All right, so nieces are at home for a spring break, so that's why you've been getting up. Got to watch them since you have the they have the survival instincts of hamsters. There's a difference between ooh effort and ugh effort. Yes. Confirmation for transaction number 193857 ticket ride. Purchase confirmation for 1 ticket to the event Johnny Silverhand solo at the Grand Illusion on October 9th, 2013. Doors open at 8 p.m. Get ready to rock. Shipment confirmation. Hank Seaworth to Marcus Whitefeather. Please confirm the following shipment. 38 heat exchangers, March 23rd, 9 a.m. Reloading Station D to Main State C. Best regards. Hey, Hank. Yep, we'll grab them Wednesday morning. Take care. Workplace safety, or procedure safety from Mike Penny, Project Cynosure Site D. As a reminder to all employees, the safety procedures in force here in the laboratory. Always wear a lab coat, gloves, and mask. No net-connected devices within 6 feet of the safety zone. No exceptions. Final shift closes all valves, not just the ones in the control room. Check the fluid levels in the heat exchangers and balance them immediately. I don't want any more instances of people checking it off the list when they haven't actually done it. No using implants or other distracting tech for non-work purposes. Urgent site closure. Militech Special Purposes Department to Project Cynosure Site D. We know how difficult the past few months have been, especially after the emergency situation at Site C and the problems it created. As you may have noticed, we've already had to let some of you go. We know you must have questions, but they'll have to wait for the time being. Site D will be shut down on June 13th, 2017. You have 2 days to collect your things and return any equipment. All data should be encrypted according to Procedure 2B. All the best. Mike Penny, note 6/12/14. I can't believe the entire coding system used to be broken up into several parts. Now that I think about it, soon we should be able to pack the core itself into the heat exchanger housing. We could do something like core control rods, fuel, closed coolant flow, and a single 2x1M casing, or meter casing with the recuperator, turbine compressor, and steam generator. We could go back, pack hundreds of reactors into a relatively small space, maybe connected by one large circuit. We'll have to try it sometime. You can just give me one quick second here. Okay. Does look like there's different messages on each of the terminals. Nope, this is the same.
Come on, we don't have time.
Research results from Mike Penny to Project Cynosure Site D. Hello all. As you know, for the past few months, I've been attempting to house the core and cooling system in a single element, currently storing them in our heat exchanger housing, but that's only a temporary solution. At the moment, the cooling system takes up too much space, particularly the steam generator. I've attached it externally since we need to enlarge the housing anyway. However, the concept itself seems promising. If any of you has an idea how to decrease the size of the generator without reducing the level of heat transfer, please stop by my office. Thanks, Mike. From Dariana Kovalenko to Mike Penny, research results. Hey Mike, I think I've got a decent design worked out. I'll come by this afternoon.
Got a tight schedule, you know?
Are you alive? From Boden Kovalenko to Dariana Kovalenko. Your mother's asking when you were going to come see us. It's been 6 months. You're always working. Visit us sometime. Dad, I'm working. This is my work email. I can't have private conversations here. You were only supposed to use it in an emergency. I'll call you when we're done with our research here. Love you. That's what I thought. You wouldn't always be sitting in that bunker if you had a normal job. Yulia is working for Militech too, but somehow she has time for us. You need to come out of that hole sometimes. We love you too, Donchenko. Okay, I think... Oh. Varied multipurpose tools used to assemble and disassemble devices. Quality control. Okay.
Come on. We don't have time.
Clean up, please. I know we're not here to win a Swedish Academy Award for keeping our shit clean. I know we're all super important scientists at the top of our respective fields and that nobody wants to scrub a fucking toilet, but come the fuck on! We don't have a cleaning staff here, and unless you feel like sticking to the floor every time you want to use the bathroom, please, please, please clean up the toilet after you use it and wipe the floor. Seriously, they told me I'd go fucking nuts sitting underground for months on end, but nobody said it was because I'd be stuck down here with a bunch of slobs. Here's the cleaning stuff. It does what it says on the label. You figure it out. Yes, Vesper, I agree. Like, I get it, but the other thing is that there have been times where I've been put in situations where I can't go back, and so I am disinclined to sort of follow what the game wants me to do, on the chance that I wind up missing out on something that I want to do. Cooling unit construction, the basics. Connect the compressor to the recuperator, connect the recuperator to the turbine, close the circuit, place encasing, refill coolant, perform a test run, do not cover the vent, and enter the serial number in the system. Easy. PC Site D expedition support. We've set up Site D and begun investigating the area. Noted, awaiting further reports. We reached Site C yesterday. We are attempting to enter the data fortress. Everything encrypted. If you and your team can't manage to decrypt them, perhaps we should send somebody else? War? Honey, in the news they're saying that there might be some military activity in South Pacifica. Sorry for bothering you. I know you're busy and hard at work, but I'm worried. Are you sure you're safe there? Natalia. Everything's fine, sweetheart. Don't worry. We'll talk when I'm back. Immediate evacuation. The expedition is to be shut down immediately. It is no longer safe in South Pacifica. Do not exit the site in Militech uniforms. Wear civilian clothing. Take the data you managed to collect. Encrypt everything else. We expect a report in person within 3 days. Understood. From Lisa. Sent your uniform to be clean. Couldn't stand the stench another day. Grab it once you're up and head for to the bunker right away. I think I found something, Lisa. Old device filled with coolant, toxic, highly flammable, purpose unknown.
Got a tight schedule, you know?
The thing is, a lot of this stuff is actually very interesting as far as the reason why this reporter is here is concerned. Okay. I will do one last scan in this back area, and then we should be good to proceed. 39 March 2014. Heat exchanger fluid level control. Remember, don't sit and stare at the housing. This is just background work. Gaze trackers will not count time spent watching the heat exchangers as working time. Damien, Monday 9 to 3, Tuesday 3 to 9, Wednesday 9 to 12, Tuesday 9 to 3, Friday 3 to 9, Saturday 9 to 12, Sunday 9 to 3. Carolina, Monday 3 to 9, Tuesday 9 to 12, Wednesday 9 to 3, Thursday 3 to 9, Friday 9 to 12, Saturday 9 to 3, Sunday 3 to 9. Nigel, 9 to 12, Tuesday 9 to 3, Wednesday 3 to 9, Tuesday to Friday 9 to 3, Saturday 3 to 9, Sunday 9 to 12. If the level is incorrect, fix it right away, then check it off the chart. Mike. If it's flammable, it has a known purpose.
Can't have bad luck all the time.
We made it. The mainframe. The host. Unbelievable. There's even files from the Third Corporate War here.
Yeah. Militech was tap dancing on its tits trying to keep Sokka from pushing him off the stage.
Shit. The oldest ones are encrypted. But wait. There's some newer footage. Dated 2068. Must be when they came back. Come here, take a look.
Yeah. Okay, it's recording. Senior Research Specialist Evan McCrae, this is day 3 of our expedition. We've moved some equipment to the bunker. The old rail system remains largely functional. They might have used it to transport heat exchangers from the lab once upon a time. There is a mountain of old research here. I'll see if we can find a use for any of it.
The bastards were trying to reopen the project.
Well, Caesar managed to breach one of the data forts. He found fragments of some outdated code. Command controls for a weapon, perhaps? All we need now is an AI to merge its findings. Lisa will probe the black wall for any potential gateways. Huh? Oh, right. Day 39. Thanks, Lisa.
Hear that? They wanted to breach the black wall.
Day 50, 50. We received orders from HQ to shut down and return home. They say we're not safe here anymore. Caesar's packed us. We await Lisa's return. Poor thing's been in the bunker for 2 days. Jacked in. Or is it 3? She just won't come out. She's trying to download the data from the fortresses, but we can't hope to take it with us if she does. Now that's it. I'm gonna get her, Caesar.
Shit! This is bigger than I thought. Militech using some rogue AI to augment their old weaponry? This is huge.
Yeah. Militech and some secret weapon. Street's been saying it for ages. Usually between worlds ending on Tuesday and Bart Moss is hibernating in a fridge.
Like other peeps haven't tried to contact Blackwall AIs. Failing to see the big break there.
Look, Voodoo Boys poking at the black wall is one thing, but one of the world's most powerful megacorps weaponizing a wild AI? Infinitely worse. When people learn Netwatch is busy hunting ordinary Joes while giving the megacorps free reign, imagine the outcry.
Look, if it mattered, would have been old news years ago.
Kidding me? You hear about Soul Killer? Now imagine a similar project, only Militech's pushing the buttons. These things change the world. And not for the better. At least not for people like us.
So we got it? Grab what you need, let's Delta.
Dante!
What the?
Howdy, Bree.
Hazed me once, won't do it again. Who the hell are you, really?
Dante Caruso. Militech special agent. Stand down. I'm here for Bree. Couldn't give half a shit about you. Knew she was hiding somewhere in the area. Knew you were looking for her. Just had to watch and wait. Thanks, kid. Hope you're not about to start defending her. Must have filled your head with all sorts of horse shit.
Bree can talk. Ask her yourself.
And what'll I hear? More lies? Spinning tall tales is her specialty. She tell you how she wrote articles for us mucking up the competition? Ah. Can see those gears churning now. Yeah. Bree worked for Militech.
That true?
Yes. Took the gigs because that meant I got access to their archives. You gotta believe me. He knows I'm close. He wants to stop me.
Another failure to communicate. You don't know my mind, but I sure as hell know yours, Bree. A flag in the wind's what you are. Whose pocket are you in right now? Arasaka? Netwatch? That quant you were pulling intel from. Caesar Maharez. You know they zeroed him, right?
What's he talking about?
Can't you see he's threatening me? Militech murdered the scientist, now they're trying to murder me. I gotta get this story out, or they'll kill everyone on the project, one by one.
Wrong. It's because of you Maharez got wiped. And what for, huh? The Eddies? Sorry, Bree.
Stop him, V!
Lab ain't big enough for the both of us. He gave me no choice.
I was probably a little premature. I'm sure there was a point to make a choice between the two, but
thanks, V. I mean it.
Voice notes, case number Chaos 111076, archived. Kevin Staff, former Militech employee, set up Agent Davis in the afterlife, 210. By his apartment, he hasn't left for 3 days. Rain's coming down hard, maybe that's why. Group enters 6 to 8 people. Group leaves, doors locked, can't break it down. To do, check door security system. Managed to open the door, found Kevin tied to a chair, unconscious, passed out, gagged. Is he breathing? Untied Kevin, he's alive. High-class apartment, but run down, abandoned, wilted plants, clearly wasn't living there. List of clubs on desk. Was he in the afterlife that night? Kevin regains consciousness, doesn't want to give me names, admits he was in the club, but he's under their protection. Why? Another corp might want intel from him, maybe he's a hostage. Single shot to the head, couldn't let him walk. Enter the afterlife, 2 times Aquila, put it on my employee account. Meg asks if it was really necessary to shoot the guy. Question, 4 times drink, maybe it was, unclear.
You and Dante know each other well?
Nah. He was just another Militech wet worker. Cowboy who reined in anyone one off the corpo leash. Betting he had loads of people like me on his conscience. But hey, I survived. And I'm gonna milk this chance for all it's worth.
Know how you feel. Also left the corp behind. Wasn't easy. But it gets better. I promise.
Yeah, counting on it. Anyway, I'll finally be working for number 1. Think I'll take a long vacation first, though. You know, in case some suit decides to trail me again. Really helped me out, V. You go ahead. I'll grab the rest of the files myself.
So I'm slightly curious. I don't normally like doing a wiki entry. I'm sure most people have experienced this, right? When you play an RPG, you want to know what the consequences for your actions. But given that I possibly skipped over some dialogue, I kind of want to see what it writes out. So, Phantom Liberty, shot by both sides, is a side job in Cyberpunk 2077. This Phantom Liberty. Walkthrough, side with Bree, kill Dante. If Dante Caruso is killed, you can loot his iconic revolver, Old Reliable. After the conversation with Bree Whitney, you can pick up her iconic power pistol, Risk It, from the boxes on the right side of the room. When you call Hands, you will receive 5,000 Euro for completing the original contract. However, Hands will call you about a day later, revealing that Bree was working with Netwatch and sold them the data solely for her personal gain. After another few days pass, a Netwatch hit squad of several agents will randomly appear on the streets and attack you. Well, I feel kind of bad that I read that now. Anyways, I'm not going to change my actions based off of this. So side with Dante, Bree dies. If Bree is killed, you can collect Risk It from the floor. Dante will share a shard retrieved from Bree's body. In it, it is revealed that she was working for Netwatch and was acting solely for personal gain. Facilitating the hit that killed the scientist, Mieres. If you talk to Dante afterwards, he will give you a 5,000 Euro reward. Hands will be displeased by the deviation from the contract. Bree and Dante both die. If you kill whoever survives the standoff, Bree or Dante, you can acquire database Cynosure Site D, in addition to both the Risk It and Old Reliable. Hands will be displeased when you call, although he will be satisfied if you mention the database shard. You can then send this to him at a drop point, and he will later reward you another 5,000 Euro. Johnny will be disappointed by this choice. Oh, well, I really want to make sure that Johnny's happy. So the thing is, I was really just wanting to try and find the dialogue, which is the only thing that wasn't present in this write-up. But fair enough. Like I said, I'm not gonna change my not gonna change my actions based on what I just found out here. It's just a scratch, dude. Get back up. Yeah. I mean, I figure you probably don't need to put a spoiler alert if you're doing a wiki entry on a mission. I figure most people should sort of know that there's going to be spoilers, so I can't exactly get salty about that. I'm just kind of mad that, you know, I was given the walkthrough but not the material. Please stop. That's literally 3 different options for the same button. There we go. Client's pleased, transferring your funds. Client's happy, I'm happy. Okay, so the next one would be balls to the wall. I may not do that tonight, though, because we are past midnight, and I am at the half-hour mark past where I normally finish. Although if folks would like me to stream a little longer, I don't mind it. It's just I don't know how much longer I've got left in me. But I figure I can at least get in the area, and then if I don't know, I'll get an idea as to whether or not the mission expects me to wait. You're gonna head on out. You're in need of sleep, so I'm about to fall unconscious. Completely understand. I actually still have some writing that I need to do tonight anyway. So this is why I'm feeling a little conscious about... Always nice to have you, Vesper. I'm sorry I wasn't... I feel like I've just generally been talking about less today, but I'm feeling sleepy myself, so... but I will see you either on your stream or mine. I'll be back on Monday after this, and looking forward to catching up with you then. Okay, 2 BDs and then an FF, which I can turn into E9s. Actually, I can't turn this into an E9, so if we go FF1C... Okay, so if I do FF1C... Then I need the FF, and there's no... Oh, there is an E9 there, but not a second one. So 1C... F... crap. I'm missing the E9. Should have properly thought that through before I committed. Anyway. I'm just down a few components, nothing too major. Now if I have to, like when it says wait for Paco and Babs, if they like properly mean wait, what I think I'll do is I'll probably steal that car, and then we will call that for the evening. Ooh.
Fucker, open fire! Ah!
If I have to fight, I'll do it, but I'm hoping I can just wait them out. Yeah, so this is going to make me... This is going to make me wait. So, before I do that, I am going to see if I can steal that car again. I did run off a fair distance, so it may not be available now. Oh, go away.
How dare you!
How dare you, sir?
Something's happening!
I'm not 100% sure why these ones in particular are hostile. But it does look like I lost the opportunity to steal the car. I'll double check because it was fairly deep in, but at this point I should probably see it on the... Is this in the same spot as last time? I think it is. A little bit more of a fight than last time. So many people very unhappy to see me. Alright. So I gotta get the hell out of here. Oh, come on.
Stay away from me!
Well, nuts. So I definitely want to give the heaviest slip. Or the slip. A slip is garment.
Real bad! Got a rat here somewhere.
Okay. So I was really hoping to blow something up, but
Jesus, die already!
okay. BD and 355s.
Didn't sign up for this shit.
So obviously there's a ton of stuff for me to pick up after I deal with this, but is he just in the world?
Tough motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a voodoo boy who is not actually accessible. I'll just assume that they're buried somewhere under the...
Someone's nearby.
under all the dirt.
Got a hat here somewhere.
I mean, it is fair to say the object of the game is not to get the highest body count possible anyway. Usually, if I wind up killing people, it's because I failed to do what I was originally planning on. But, I don't know, I figure it doesn't hurt to... Oh! There's that car. Alright, I think the theft will be the last thing that I do tonight, and then we'll call it a night.
Kaptan. Leza. Nam gito. Bako ka na eh.
Come out. Let's talk.
Bring her in, Ma. Great. Grab the delivery cords and drive.
Oops. Okay, so I gotta make sure that I'm not being pursued when I exit Dogtown, otherwise they are going to shoot me.
Bad news. You only got a few minutes, so chop chop.
Alright, I'm pretty sure I can't do this in 2.5 minutes. It's 2.5 kilometers, and I'm gonna lose some time getting out of Dogtown. But we'll see how it goes.
One last thing.
Less than a minute per kilometer and decent condition. Why not? How about add a unicorn too? I can't believe I didn't damage the car. You know what? This is not that windy of a road, so I might be able to... It's going to be tight, but I might actually be able to make this on time. So we only have a minute left, but I'm pretty sure it's just a straight line and then a slight left to get to the delivery spot. as long as I'm not premature in terms of turning to the destination, we should be okay. Less than 30 seconds, though.
Not gonna lie, V.
All right.
You got a gift.
That turned out rather well.
Thanks for the help, V. My chum will do the finishing touches.
So as far as next steps, I know there wasn't a whole lot of main story progress, and looks like I have a bit of action to look forward to in future episodes. But what I think I will do next, pretty much anything that I want to do that's Phantom Liberty related is going to either be a main quest or involve me waiting. So I think I will do Balls to the Wall first. I might take a small break and do The Beast in Me as well. After that, get it together to meet with Reed, and yeah, we'll see where it goes. But I figure that's a decent. Little plan for future sessions. But I'm feeling a bit tired. I do need to get some raiding done, and I did manage to get a full stream in. So thank everybody for watching. I'll find somebody to host. The plan for next week, so I'm still recording some Book of Hours. There's a new update to the game, so we'll see what's in store for that. I know of at least one reasonably big change, which is related to House of Light. I'll be recording those at the weekend. Those will be on YouTube Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I will be doing more Old World on Monday. We've been trying to do the Philip of Macedon scenario a little bit faster than what I normally do. On top of that, Wednesday we'll be back to Phantom Brigade. I am looking forward to doing a few more bosses and just generally playing some more of that game. I don't think I will be playing it before the sale is done, but the game is currently discounted for those of you who are interested in picking it up. And then a week from now we will be doing more Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. I do know there's a bit of a penalty in terms of viewership if I start late like I did tonight, but on the other hand, like I don't want to give up on other priorities, like being able to, stream. I like be able, do the work that I want, being able to, take some, get a proper rest, do a few of those other things. So I'll do my best to try and start within the usual 7 to 8 start window. But Fridays are the most likely to fall outside of that. I think I'm starting to get a decent enough idea in terms of what I need to do to make sure that I'm starting on time over the course of the week. Anyways, thank you everybody for watching. I'm going to host Kilgore Trout tonight, so let me just take a second here. He is doing L.A. Noire. And I will actually make sure that this is a proper raid. The last couple of times I've tried to do a raid, it's kind of blown up in my face. I've either raided the wrong person or something else has gotten in the way. But Kilgore Trout is he's actually playing this on Xbox 360. He is a member of the GOG stream team, does a lot of classic and retro games. L.A. Noire is certainly one of the newer ones. I think he's been doing a lot of Rockstar stuff recently. But anyways, I will leave you in his capable hands. Thank you again for watching. We'll see some of you on Monday. For those of you who are just here for Cyberpunk, see you in a week. Until then, take care.